You're watching BBC One as we join Moira Stewart in the newsroom.
Good afternoon. The Russian President, Boris Yeltsin, has appeared on television amid growing speculation about his health. Earlier, the rival communist candidate in the presidential election called for an official inquiry after Mr. Yeltsin was forced to cancel several campaign appearances.
Boris Yeltsin looked stiff and pale, but he did manage a smile as Russian television showed him meeting Prime Minister Viktor Chernomyrdin. In a brief, low-key address, Mr. Yeltsin appealed for Russians to support his reforms and promised to find the strength for a second term in office. The president is, however, continuing to cancel his public engagements, and persistent rumours have sent the Russian stock market plummeting. On his last public appearance, Mr. Yeltsin had a vodka glass in his hand, prompting his political opponents to question his sobriety and fitness to be running Russia. Gennady Zyuganov, the communist challenger who's running close behind Mr. Yeltsin in the polls, has said his absence is alarming and called for an official state inquiry into the president's health.
The shoe manufacturer Clark's is to close 3 factories and make 1,400 people redundant. Jobs will go from the company's headquarters, and it's shutting factories in Plymouth, where 320 people are employed, in Somerset, with a loss of 400 jobs, and at Askham and Furness in Cumbria, where there are 245 workers. Privatised train companies are failing to offer their passengers the cheapest ticket available, according to a new survey by the Consumers Association. The research will be featured on tonight's Panorama programme, which suggests that in 87% of cases, companies are overcharging customers. Some of the fares quoted were double those of the cheapest ticket. Thousands have gathered in northern France to commemorate the start of the Battle of the Somme 80 years ago today. 250,000 British servicemen lost their lives in the fighting, 20,000 on the first day.
The focus of today's sombre events is the war memorial at Thiepfeld, where 70,000 dead are remembered. Returning to the fields of northern France are around a dozen men who fought at the Somme, most in their 90s, one at least 103. Already today there have been remembrance services for the Welsh. The 38th Division took 4,000 casualties in the first 5 days. In all, 20,000 soldiers were killed on the first day of the battle, most soon after clambering out of their trenches at precisely 7:28 in the morning. That moment was marked at Westminster Abbey this morning. A wreath was also laid to commemorate the battle. Under the gloomy skies of France, the day is being remembered as it was fought, one division following another.
That's the news for now. There's more from the newsroom at 1 o'clock.
Good afternoon. The family of a Norfolk girl has won a £1 million damages settlement at the High Court after medical problems at birth. Gemma Allen suffered severe lack of oxygen during her mother's labour. Norwich Health Authority has accepted liability. The jury in the trial of a man accused of murdering his wife and 2 stepchildren is expected to retire to consider its verdict today. Deborah Bracken Hughes and her 2 sons, Matthew and James, were found strangled at their home on the Barleycroft estate last July. Martin Hughes has denied murder. The James Paget Hospital has defended its smear testing programme, saying it proves they have the right checking procedures in place. The hospital is in the middle of retesting after it revealed that 8,000 women may have been given a wrong result. Members of one of Colchester's oldest theatre groups will meet tonight to discuss how it can continue staging productions in the town. Colchester Operatic Society, recently saved from bankruptcy, decided on Friday to stay with the town. However, it may have to abandon its traditional venue, which is the Mercury Theatre. That's it from us. Join us for lunchtime news at 1:30.
Hello, well, it's time to take a look at the weather across Europe, and if you're wondering where summer's gone in Britain, here it is in the Mediterranean. Temperatures into the 30s, that's the 90 degrees Fahrenheit range, and a good deal of dry and sunny weather for the next few days as well. Back towards home in the northwest of Europe, you can see there's a good deal of cloud, and that cloud keeps on working its way in from the Atlantic, not only bringing rain, but also rather cool conditions as well. Now that cloud is all tied up with these weather fronts, and they're going to continue working their way in across these northern and central areas of Europe right the way through to the middle of this week. Just down to the south, the high pressure holding on here and keeping things much drier and brighter. Warmer too, the warmest weather through Spain and Portugal, the Mediterranean and up on the eastern side of Europe. But all the time, the cool weather holding on, I think, across Britain, although perhaps central parts of Europe turning a little bit warmer by Wednesday. Well, certainly cool and showery today sums up the weather in Britain. Plenty of showers, some of those rather heavy, particularly across northern England just at the moment, but they'll continue to work their way out towards the North Sea. Plenty of showers this afternoon then, and not particularly warm either, with those rather breezy westerly winds. Well, for the rest of Europe then, on Tuesday, certainly showery once again across these northern areas. Down to the south, dry and sunny and staying that way on Wednesday. But quite a change in Britain. This area of low pressure moving its way in on Tuesday. We'll see the winds increasing, and it'll bring a lot of wet weather as well from the west of Britain across to the eastern side as we go through to the afternoon. That's it from me.